What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Paul. This is the Leeds Therapy. I do hope you are doing well. Thank you as ever for stopping by. I really do appreciate it. If you've not done so already, please make sure that you subscribe. Please make sure that your notifications are turned on. Also as well, comment in the comment section down below. That's a really important part for me. I want to get your views and your opinions on everything. If you're listening to the audio version of this, just make sure that you're following us on either Apple or on Spotify. And also, like it for me as well. That would be greatly appreciated. I need to take a sip of my coffee. That feels a lot better. Lubricated. Oh. Lubricated and caffeinated, I think, is the word that they use. So, today's video, it's still very, very quiet on the Western Front and not a lot of news coming out of anywhere at the moment. So, what I wanted to do was have a little look at where we kind of really need to focus, or what our attention kind of needs to be in terms of where we're going to play, what we're going to do, etc., so on and so forth, and kind of like the players that we, not the specifically name players that we need to bring in, but just go through in terms of positionally wise, what we do really, really need to focus on. So we just get into it at the moment. So what we're looking at for the audio version of this is I've just popped us into a 3-4-2-1 formation, which is the standard formation that we know and love, that did well for us last season. And there's a slight suspicion that Farke might be trying to move away from that formation moving forwards, because he really likes possession-based football. He likes playing out from the back. However, in terms of the strengths and the types of players that we've got, we're not at a stage yet where we can rely on that. Yeah, we can have a hybrid system where we move to a where that 3-4-2-1 system can move into a 5-4-1 or a 5-5, or you can move it into a 3-6-1. There's a lot that you can do with it. You can move it around, you can change positions. But the thing is that what was clear, particularly in the game against Liverpool, is that we need depth. We need to look at being able to have a squad where we can rotate players in who can fill gaps, who can fill voids, but still perform to a standard that the first team, quote unquote first team, first 11, can play at the same way, at the same sort of level. That's kind of what we're looking at. So for me, when you look at it, we go from back to front. One of the key areas that we need to look at, definitely, we need a specialist left back in. We know that Lenu signed his new contract and that he has looked good in pre-season so far. He looked good in the Tour of America, but it's whether or not Farke's going to trust him as a quote unquote left back, left wing back there, and if he can be trusted in that position. So it's whether or not we're going to bring in a specialist left back, and I think that's a position that we do need to look at from a cover point of view. I also feel as though we probably, mind you, we're saying that, I do feel that Bornau has really stood out in the last few games and really put himself in the picture to be what you would consider to be a reliable fit to come in. I think he's looked good, and he's looked solid, and hopefully that's something that can continue. So that might just move away from us having to bring in another centre-back. We obviously need to bring in a second-choice keeper. That's something that needs to happen as well. So whether or not that might be Mahadi, I don't know. But it's whether or not we're going to bring in a specialist second-choice keeper. I think if we're going down that route, a Zetterstrom or something like that might be worthwhile to bring in as second choice. From a midfield point of view, obviously there's the Shea Charles argument. Do we need somebody else in there in that central midfield position that can help out and that can change things around slightly? Longstaff has obviously performed very, very well. I've been really impressed with what I've seen of him in the pre-season side of stuff. He started last season really well. Then the injury really curtailed what he could do. I think there's potentially an issue with Tanaka, just in terms of he's been very, very hit and miss so far. So for me, that's something that needs potentially looking at. So Shea Charles as an opportunity towards the end of the window, maybe, who knows? Then we've got the forward positions, so sort of like the inside right and inside left positions that we've got. We've got the Okafor side of things, and we've obviously now got the Harry Wilson side of things. On that right-hand side, we have got, and I'm going to say it, Dan James as a backup that can go there. For the right-hand side position. We know that people like Largi Ramazani, Nonto could potentially be on their way out. There's those three, Ramazani, Nonto and Pirro, so we need to get in replacements for those players as well. Okafor needs cover because currently at the moment he can only do 60 minutes. He is only performing to probably about 80% of his capability. He's the only player that we've got in that position, though, in terms of being able to take players on. So we need to look at, potentially for me, another left-sided, like left winger, left forward. We definitely need another number 9 as well, as somebody that can come in as backup for DCL. We saw how important DCL was in the Liverpool game and how much just that instinctiveness of a striker in the 6-yard box makes a huge difference when balls start coming in and balls start playing. I think it's also important to mention Aronson. He's in the final year of his contract, but when he came on against Liverpool, he looked absolutely full of beans. I was impressed with what he did. I know it's Liverpool's second string and you shouldn't get overly excited about that type of stuff and everything that goes with it. I completely get that and I understand that, but it's whether or not he can fulfill that role of what that I've always said that he would be absolutely perfectly suited for, which is coming on at 60, 70 minutes to just harass and just rat around and make a big difference with that energy and the tenacity that he has. So that for me could be a really, really good option to maybe use, but we definitely need a number 10. Obviously, the Julian Brandt situation, so Brandt's not there anymore as an option. He's gone to Ajax. He's taken the easy route out. I saw a report somewhere that a reporter put on that it's he has actually saying that he's taken the easy option because he wouldn't be, as much as he wanted to play in the Premier League, they didn't think that he would be suited to the pace of the Premier League. So interesting. Now there is the Pavel Schultz option potentially. We saw the picture of him getting on the plane. It still amazed me that he looked about 50 years old, which is really, really weird considering that he's 25. But there is that option. We do need that specialist creative number 10 that could come into that position. Obviously, there's the Igor Paixão stuff that started to materialise again, and there's now rumours that Villa are looking at him as a potential option as well. So it was noted, Jer picked this up on yesterday, saying with regards to Paixão that he is actually third choice for us in terms of those attacking midfielders that we're actually looking at. So it's who the other two are. I would suggest that the other two, one of them has got to be Schultz. One of them has to be Schultz. So again, it's a case of waiting and seeing. Now, the issue is that there's a month left until the transfer window closes. So we do need to start getting a bit of a move on. Hopefully the Trafford stuff gets sorted out this week. Once the Trafford stuff is sorted out, we can then start looking at all of the other options and start to bring the rest of the players in that we need. So to conclude on that, I would like to see a specialist left back. I would like to see maybe another central defender. I think we need another central midfielder. I think we need left wing cover for Okafor, a number 10, and also potentially, well, we definitely do need another striker as cover as well overall. So there's still 6-7 players there potentially that we could go for overall, which is another overhaul of the squad. But again, it's about raising the level of the squad and taking us to be able to take us from where we finished last season and moving us up the table at the same time as well. So yeah. Your job now. Tell me what you think in the comment section down below. What do you think in terms of what we need? Are you worried in terms of the length of time that there is left to get business done? All of that kind of stuff. It is very, very quiet at Ellen Road at the moment. So usually that means something is happening. So hopefully that is the case. But like I said, it's down to you now. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Make sure you subscribe, your notifications are turned on. If you're listening to the audio version of this, make sure you're liking it and following on Apple and on Spotify as well. Like I said, hype it for me. That would be greatly appreciated. Take care of each other. Most importantly, please, please, please take care of yourself. Thank you so much for your time. I will speak to you soon. Take it easy. Much love. Cheers.